Hello and welcome to SteamPunk Physics. My name is Shiva. I'm going to be your guide through the underpinnings of steampunk. Most of you know steampunk as an aesthetic. Gears and goggles, brass and browns, but I'm here today to tell you that there's actually a mechanic behind our mythology. So let me introduce you today to, first of all, the question is, what is steampunk? Where does it come from? Well, it is it's based upon the real physics of the 19th century, and then we take that and we go a little further. So what is this web series going to be about? Who's it for? It's going to be for authors, artists, enthusiasts, that sort of people. Now, for instance, science fiction is usually has an underpinning. It's put together in a way that is very believable. So one of the things that it does is it suspends disbelief. So to suspend disbelief, you have to have a backstory that you can rely upon that works, that isn't just nonsense. So what we're going to be going through is the 19th century physics and get down into the nitty-gritty details of how that works. Now, I'm not going to be going into any complex math. It's just going to be simple visuals and analogies and things of that nature. We might actually at some point do a little arithmetic, etc., but nothing too nothing too crazy. If you know anything about this genre, you'll recognize Tesla. And what we're going to get down to is also the ether. What is the ether? What's it about? You think it's something crazy and weird and magical, but it's not. It's actually a real physical thing from the 19th century physics. In other words, they had a belief that it was not something that was just hokum, and there was a mechanism to it. It's something that really worked. Like, for instance, Maxwell, he's the father of electromagnetism, and the Maxwell's equations that are used today, they were actually based upon the ether. Strangely enough, also ancient religions is where the idea of ether originally came from. So there's a lot of interesting things that we can get into there, and the backstory of ether, etc. What are we going to be doing? We're going to be going into the intricate details of ether theory and how it explains absolutely everything. What I'm saying is ether theory can actually provide an explanation for everything physical, plus there are some things that we can work in to make it a little more interesting. In other words, for instance, time travel, but there's everything from gravity to the golden mean can be explained through ether theory. So that's going to be a big focus of it, but we will get into some of how, what is it that Tesla believed about it, what is it some of the other people believed about it, but we will extend it and continue going into, how does time travel work, how do we fit this in, make it believable, and have a system that is basically something we can all rely on when we're writing, or if you're just something that you're interested in, what did they used to believe in the 19th century. I mean, it wasn't just nonsense. These people who gave us our physics today came from the 19th century. There's not a whole lot of additional physics we've added in the past century other than special relativity. So that's the one thing that we won't actually have to deal with is what Einstein added. That's really about it. Everything else that we knew about classical physics and the way that things interacted electromagnetically, the motion of the planets, all these things came from 19th century physics. We tend to believe that physics in the past, or any of our science in the past, came from people who were, barbaric or something, but that's absolutely not true. There were very few people in a very small academic circle. It was very few people who could really do science, so therefore they were usually extremely talented people and extremely intelligent people. Now, they didn't have our modern gadgets and gizmos, but in steampunk, what we're going to get into is how this all works. So I'll see you in the next video.